Overheard my fiancé's mom mock me as stupid during a family barbecue, and my fiancé laughed along, leaving me questioning our future together. 23F, am engaged to John, 24 male. We are together for 5 years. We want to get married in July 2025. I always thought that his family liked me because we get along well. He has 2 older brothers, 26M, 29M, both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. Some kind of important information. About a year ago when I was scrolling on Instagram I saw a profile that was kind of cringy but in a cute way. It was an older woman's profile who shared inspirational quotes. I remember one particular post and it was something in the lines of only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend. Just ask. Honestly, this quote changed me in a lot of ways. Before that I was always worried that I might embarrass myself if I don't know something, and after reading that quote I realized that if I always pretend that I know everything then I'll miss out on actually getting to learn about things. So I decided to change my habits and start admitting that sometimes I genuinely don't know. Someone is talking about the war in Kosovo? Okay, sure, but first let me ask some questions so I can really understand what we're talking about. And I ask a lot of questions sometimes. I sometimes even open the Notes app and write in some questions that I later want to find answers to. These are my latest. 1. How does the time work in the black hole? 2. Why some snails have shells and others don't? 3. What food is okay for ducks? 4. How does the light bulb work, the old ones with gas inside them? 5. Does everyone see colors the same? And how can we know that? Sorry for the long introduction, but it was kind of necessary for understanding what kind of person I am. I know that sometimes I might come across as annoying. Now on to the problem. His parents hosted a small barbecue last weekend only, for the family. So it was the mom, 54F, dad, 59M, brothers, 26M, 29M, and their wives, 27F, 27F. I was the last person who showed up because I had to work late. I entered the house, and when I was walking towards the back of the house into the backyard I heard John's mom talking about me. To be honest, she wasn't talking about me, more like mocking me. I heard her say in a high-pitched voice, "How does the sun work? Where should I put the fork? Why does nobody like me? How do I wipe my ass?" I just stood there. I had this sinking feeling. I couldn't move, so I just stood there. And I heard them all laughing. One of the wives said I actually don't mind her always asking questions. I think it's cute, and it made me feel hopeful that they will say something like, "Yeah sure, we're just playing, we love that." But none of them did. Instead the mom replied, "It's not cute. She's just stupid." After that they laughed again. I heard John laughing. My heart kind of broke in that moment because he didn't even say one positive thing. He didn't defend me. He just laughed. I quietly turned around and left the house. I texted John that I got sick and have to stay home. Now I'm wondering, how should I approach this situation? We live together and I sleep in the guest bedroom for now, and I use the excuse that I don't want him to get sick from being around me. I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore, because it's been too long. I'm not sure how do I proceed. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm also worried that they won't be honest with me. I can't marry him if he really thinks I'm stupid. But I also can't marry into a family who thinks so little of me. But maybe it was a joke and I shouldn't take it so seriously. I'm so torn apart, and every day I convince myself a bit more that it's okay and sometimes we should all laugh about ourselves. Now I feel like I'm just going crazy. I would really appreciate some advice. TLDR, overheard future Mill calling me stupid and my fiancé laughed. Considering leaving him. I'm wondering if it might be just a joke and maybe a misunderstanding. Need advice on how to navigate the situation. Edit, there are many comments saying that they cannot stand people like me. I agree that sometimes I can be a bit too much with the questions, but with that being said I still think I'm within reason. I don't do it around people I just met, I rarely do it at parties or other gatherings. I usually do it with people who are close to me, who I think wouldn't judge me, or with people who specifically have knowledge about something and are willing to share it. If I'm a part of a conversation, I'm not rude and I'm not interrupting. I usually just ask 1 or 2 questions. If a discussion is about the climate change, I'm not asking about monkeys, if you know what I'm saying. I'm also not a complete dumbass. I don't ask questions which generally would be considered dumb to other people. Update 1. For the other people who said I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying or hard to be around. I'm okay with that. I don't exist to please everyone. I'm just here for a good time, have my own interests and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm so grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him and at the very least confront him, so that's what I decided to do. You gave me a push and confidence to do it. But before I did that, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said she liked me asking questions. I asked if we can meet up for coffee. She said sure. We met and I didn't see the point in pretending to her that I didn't hear their conversation. So after some small talk I just said, "I heard you all talking about me during the barbecue." She immediately got sad and said she feels embarrassed. She explained that it wasn't a joke, wasn't out of context, that it was just mean and hurtful. She's sorry for not defending me more, but I said it's okay and I understand. I told her that I don't blame her for anything, and just wanted to make sure that I understand the situation and see it for what it really was. And it really was laughing about me behind my back. Just bullying. At this point I just had to confront John. In my last post so many comments were saying that he will probably try gaslighting me. And you were right. We were having dinner together for the first time since the barbecue happened, because before I tried my best to avoid him. Yes, I know, not very mature of me, but other than you guys I don't really have a strong support system. My family and best friends are hundreds of kilometers away. I only have 2 good friends here. I was so stressed I thought I'm going to pass out. My legs were shaking and I was terrified because I knew deep down that this is the moment when my 5-year relationship goes down the drain. I looked him in the eyes and asked, how does the sun work? He looked confused, so I followed with, where should I put my fork? Why does nobody like me? At this point realization hit him and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there and I heard them. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke. That I shouldn't be so uptight. That it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny and went to the guest to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he will be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother made similar comments before the barbecue. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to. I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me. I don't know if I believe it either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I ever known. He was my first and only partner. I have no outside perspective of this. I have no experience. I need a moment to think. I will be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me non-stop. He tried calling but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings and only later, when he realized that I might break up with him, started apologizing. The next day I decided to give him another chance to explain himself and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard them. I said I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting. I think it's true. She never got the chance or never had desire to have an education. She is a very good homemaker, but outside of that she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I'm asking her about making tomato soup, she will be talking for 30 minutes lecturing me about adding enough sugar, but not too much. She will lecture anyone who is willing to listen. But anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and try to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, it shouldn't be discussed. Once again he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point I had enough. I took off my ring and told him that his behavior is a joke and I can't be the punchline. I told him that I wish him and his family the best and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friends soon to pick up the rest of my stuff and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you I wouldn't have the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family, so I'm done with the relationship. I hope they will treat his next girlfriend better. Update 2. So I got my own apartment now. I lived with my friend for a while and she was an amazing support for me after the breakup, but now I have my own place closer to my university and work. Turns out my ex-fiancé didn't tell his family that we broke up. I blocked them all except for the ex, because we needed to keep in touch in order to get my stuff from the apartment that we shared, and nice still, and a week after the breakup she texted me and asked when I will come to the parents' house because everyone wants to apologize. I called her and said that we're no longer together and I don't really want their apology. She seemed shocked because my ex was telling them that we're fine, she just needs some time. Ex still told me that the family is still fighting over this whole ordeal and that the brothers are giving my ex a hard time about the situation. I told her nicely that I don't really want any updates. I like her, but I cannot put my energy towards following their every move. She told me she understands. I don't know what happened after that with them. I'm happy. I went on a date with a cute guy I met in a cafe, but I'm taking everything slow and I don't want to rush any relationship. I'm not ready because just 3 months ago I was planning a wedding and right now I'm single and focusing on studying and work. When I graduate I want to adopt a kitten, and that's my only goal in terms of any big commitment right now. Smile. I also enrolled in CS50 by Harvard and I recommend you all to try and learn something new today. Update 3. I wanted to get a cat for so long but my ex was against it. He didn't like cats, he was a dog person. I'm waiting till I graduate because I want to have more free time to actually take care of it. Commenter, this may sound like a lot, but consider adopting 2 together. 2 siblings or a bonded pair are not much more work than one and they entertain each other and are so fun to watch. My profile pic is our kitten we adopted with his sister at the same time and it's great. Oop, oh okay. That's good to know, thanks. And your kitten is so cute, Give him and his sister some scratches and pets from me smile commenter, part of a longer comment. May I ask if you already gone and pick your stuff from his place and blocked him for good? Hope so for you to end the chapter more easily. Oop, yeah, after a week and a half I was done picking up my stuff. I tried not to be petty and take my silverware for example and not give him a reason to get mad. I didn't want to come alone so I only went when my friend had the time to help me. He did get mad when I took my air fryer, he loved it more than anything, ha. I blocked him after I took everything that was mine. I think even though the brothers still think what the family said during the barbecue was funny, they are giving my ex a hard time because he let a good one go or something like that. They don't think they were in the wrong but they're making fun of him for not standing up for me and they're laughing at the fact that I broke up with him and he didn't even have the balls to tell them. One of them said that if someone called his wife stupid, he would defend her even if she would have done something dumb. Commenter, you don't have a sill. Law is literally in the title. Oop, yeah, it's just easier for people to read and understand. I didn't want to call her my fiancé's brother's wife because that's long and awkward smile commenter. Seems like you moved on very easily. From love to engaged and blocked within a few weeks. Oop, yeah, the love faded really fast. I didn't expect it. The attachment to him is still there, but I quickly stopped feeling love for him when I fully realized that he sees me as stupid and at the very least not on his level. Now on to second story. Took my friend to Japan, and her constant complaints about everything from itineraries to sushi turned an exciting trip into a 7-day nightmare. Finding out my friend of 5 years was an absolute when taking her on her first trip to Japan 1 year after I moved back from there. What did she do? Wouldn't add to the itinerary at all but complained every single day when we got there. I took her to popular stations in Tokyo since it was her first time and we had 7 days, but she wanted to go to the beaches and rise at 5 a.m. and stay out till 2 a.m. like she does in Mexico. Compared everything to Mexico, even wanting to tip a restaurant owner in USD because I do it in Mexico. Wanted to tip everyone and argued the whole time when I told her don't do it, it's rude, and when I got my Japanese friend to educate her on how to give proper thanks, she finds one person online who said it's not required but appreciated and wouldn't stop pressing me about how it's so good to tip. She would ask me how my legs were doing and I'd answer honestly like yeah they hurt, and she later mocked and berated me saying it made her feel bad I was complaining about my legs. I never said they hurt out of my own accord nor did I stop what we were doing or ask for breaks. If she asked I said yeah but she'd rather I'd lie. I asked if she was thirsty while we waited for open hours and she said no, so I went to find me a coffee shop to grab one real quick. She goes I don't even want to go there, you should have taken me to a real cafe, girl I'm just grabbing me a drink since you said no. Doesn't believe in itineraries yet hated everywhere I took her so got her friend back home to look up places for her. She had 6 months to look up anything to add but she doesn't believe in itineraries. Got mad I didn't order for her when she didn't ask me to help. Said, if we were in Mexico I would have ordered for you. All she said was she was thinking about getting a bun today, she didn't end up ordering it herself because she didn't want to point to it and ask the cashier. I was standing 10 steps away from her, there was no one in line and we were the only ones in the store. Not sure why she didn't even attempt to order a bun in the case or ask me to help her. Started saying she should have gone on this trip with friend A or friend B to my face. Said she didn't like touristy areas aka Shibuya, Asakusa, Harajuku, and wanted to go to rural areas while she doesn't even speak Japanese and was relying on me to quite literally hold her hand for everything. She's older than me but both late 20s BTW. Said she was going to leave the trip early if we spent a day with my sister at our Japanese friend's house. She wouldn't eat sushi because they have worms in them, wouldn't go to karaoke because they were listening, said I made her cry which she's only ever done at her dad's funeral, wow, called dried squid a gag gift she can get her family, accused me of cutting her luggage and wouldn't take out yen from the ATM so I did and she paid me back. Tried to tell me data works fine compared to our pocket Wi-Fi and that we can just leave the Wi-Fi at the hotel when I asked her to hold it for us. I lived in Japan and will not go anywhere without a pocket Wi-Fi, this isn't even half of it. A whole 7-day nightmare. For the first time in my life I actually slept through an entire 9-hour plane ride on the way back. ETA, I totally forgot some of the more effed up things like asking do you have an eating disorder? Or telling me she was going to smack my hand because I had it near my nose as I was choking on so much secondhand smoke my throat was getting raspy. And trying to convince me it was my fault that I was getting inappropriate stuff happening to me, Man chased me down the streets of Ikebukuro wanting to go to a hotel but it's my fault, because I was standing alone at the station, update 1. That made me really happy. I actually had 2 friendships that ended over that trip and overall I felt really taken advantage of and underappreciated. Thank you all for helping sort some of those feelings by sharing your thoughts. Of course this was a huge lesson learned and I'll do my best to move forward with more caution and maturity. A little more context to what I went through, got mad I told her no, I don't need her to hold my bag. Got mad I told her I didn't want to walk 1 hour to our destination because she chose the route with 1 train with a 40 minutes walk, I chose one with 3 transfers and a 10 minutes walk. I said I put my compressions in my check-in on accident and she replies well I'm smart and packed mine in my backpack. Told me she couldn't help with adding to the itinerary or join study sessions because she had family issues she didn't want to tell me about and didn't understand how that doesn't give her a pass to complain the whole time. She would agree to leave an area but then make snarky comments about how she liked the previous area more. Told me sarcastically I'm always right when I tried to tell her she was reading a Japanese person's response wrong. As if I didn't know the concept of Tate me and Hone lol. Blew up at me for being on my phone at dinner. I was navigating the whole time and we shared a hotel/bed. The only time I got to check in with my fam is when we sat down to eat. Kept saying her family, who was tracking her, was asking why we're at a laundromat or why we're at a mall and not outside. Would compare me to friend A like oh she would have understood my joke. Used my other friend problem I was having against me, saying she understands why my friend did what she did. Yapped about how she hates Selena Gomez for writing a song about her ex, and when I told her nearly every singer/songwriter does, she told me to list names, and so I listed people and she said no, but name all. Singers though. Heard my fave group XG play in Shibuya and when I got excited she goes EU, only because they're a girl group. Acted like me making an itinerary meant that we couldn't walk into random shops along the way. Anytime we went somewhere spontaneously or didn't make a reservation she would be like, see? This is how I travel. I just go with the flow because I do better under pressure. Anyways, so some people had mentioned how I didn't see any of this behavior prior to going on the trip, and I'll best honest and say there were red flags in our relationship which I saw, and I actually did distance myself from her, but after I moved to Japan and came back, I was in this weird position and really wanted to reconnect with my old friends and establish a support system again. So I decided to start fresh with her, which was obviously a mistake, and I got what I deserved. She started changing during the pandemic, in which her and friend A got really close as we were barely talking at the time. I talked to a mutual friend of ours recently and we both suspect that friend A had a part in fueling her toxic behavior. We always knew her as a sort of mama bear that took care of everyone and is super well-mannered and self-righteous. Everyone likes her and looks up to her, but as one commenter pointed out, these good qualities are actually a disguise. She needs to be in control, and once she was out of her element and not in control, she completely lost her cool and was actually very verbally abusive. Which brings me to the next answer to everyone's question: she is pursing to be a detective or police officer. It's more fitting rather than ironic. She appears disciplined, morally superior and dominant, but she's simply judgmental and controlling, and it's scary to think someone like her will have more power and influence. The next thing I want to address is people asking why did she even want to go to Japan? I kind of think it's simple. I invited her and said I know of good places and can take us around. I think a lot of people in my life want me to take them to Japan because it's easier to go with someone who knows how to travel there. She wasn't someone who ever dreamed of going to Japan, but the opportunity came up and she took it. She's more of a Koreaboo tbh, but nevertheless she was excited to go. She even started texting friend A on our trip saying they were gonna make it up to her and go to Kyoto next year and that I could join lol. Even though she told me to my face no offense, but I'm never traveling with you again. The last thing people are asking is what I said to her when I ended it. So when we got back to the States, basically I started blocking her on everything. I argued with her for 7 days and everything that came out of her mouth was a complaint or insult, so I had zero energy to go back and forth. I already know that nothing will change her mind or open her eyes. She texted me asking why she couldn't find my username anymore, and I said this: girl, no way we are friends anymore after the way you behaved all throughout the trip. Never in my life have I heard a grown adult complain that much and not know how to communicate without an attitude, gaslighting, and being condescending. You are ethnocentric, extremely judgmental and ableist. You say a lot of racist microaggressions and misogynistic things. And the fact that people can't even be honest with you or that you can't be honest with others is wild. You'd rather not hear the truth. BC honesty makes you feel bad. The entire time you talked about how you normally do things with your friends and family, and all it told me was that you're not very adaptable. But yeah, there was way too many unpleasant behavior and things said that showed your true colors, and I don't want any further involvement. Then I blocked her.